is an integral part of every kind of relationship. More so when you're married to a typical African man. You need to know how to play your game sexually so you can bring his best game to the bed. This is Double Narratives with Dr. Hanji, and this is the final series of How to Love an African Man. And today we're going to be looking at how to love your African man sexually. Don't forget, click on the notification icon and subscribe to my channel, and I will be right back. Now, welcome back. In our previous videos, we've been looking at a 3-series episode on how to love your African man. We've looked at how to love your African man psychologically, emotionally, and today we are going to be considering how to love your African man sexually. Now, in case you missed the first 2 videos, I will advise you go to my videos and of course watch so you can understand the background we have laid on which we are building. Now, Sex for an African man is synonymous to power, and power plays out in the mind of an African man by 1, who provides, and 2, who owns. So a man feels that he actually owns the wife that he has married, and that is how an African man understands the relationship of power when it comes to sex. Now let's quickly look at the dynamics of the traditional marriage system in Africa. You will see that there is a certain amount of money which is colloquially or called the bride price that a man pays on a woman, which is technically a symbol of taking her over and buying her, in quotes. Now, when an African man pays a bride price, then it is a symbol that henceforth you belong to this man and he owns you. Now, don't get all sentimental with me. Don't forget, we're looking at the typical African scenario. Now, that means he has a certain level of power over you and a level of ownership. That means there has to be a lot of flexibility displayed on your part that you also have to bring into bed. So the first thing you have to learn to love your African man sexually is to what? Allow him take the lead. I don't care how sexually versatile you are. You have to give your African man the impression that he's totally in charge and in control. And I'm going to read something to you that's going to make you understand this scenario just a little bit better. Now, sex for men is an exercise of strength and self-esteem. Why do you think they take a lot of energy drugs in order to be able to deliver maximally in bed? But then it's an exercise of strength. They have to show they are powerful, they can control you, they can own you, that you belong to them and they can do absolutely whatever, however, in bed to you. You need to understand that mentality, because when you do, it will allow you, just relax and let him take the lead. And then the flip of the coin is that sex for women is a game of sensuality and passion. We want the foreplay. We want him to go slow and steady. But this man wants to show power. He wants to show ownership, and he wants you to know, I am powerful. For you, you want it slow, you want it steady, but he wants a lot of intensity because he has a point to prove, a point of self-esteem, because the sexuality of a man is a 1-to-1 correlation with his ego when it comes to the bedroom. So you want to make sure that you allow him take the lead. Another reason why you want to make sure you allow him take the lead, apart from learning what will satisfy your man, is that an African man might think if you're too sexually versatile that you're promiscuous. With all due respect to our African gentlemen, no ill feelings meant, but the truth of the matter is he wants to be the one to take you by the hand and let you go. And if in case there is something he's not doing that you want him to do, then there goes the next step. You now begin to show him subtly, not imposing, and without tarnishing his reputation or dampening his self-esteem by saying, you don't even know how to get this done. This is how to do it. What you should be saying is, why don't you do this? I think I like this. Give him power to show you power rather than demean him in order to give you sexual pleasure. So going that way, you understand that he will relax with you. He will allow you to take him by the hand to show him, because once he knows, he can now dominate. And for those of we ladies who love passionate, slow, steady foreplay, you have to teach him foreplay. You have to let him know that his show of power is when he pleasures you in a certain way. And trust me, No, they won't let go. Once they know it's a show of power, they'll continually give it to you. And as long as they think it's them asserting the strength, then you're safe and good to go. All right, so far we now know that sex for men is a matter of strength. And of course, because it's a matter of strength, it's a sprint for them. But because women like a lot of passion, it's marathon for them. So you have to learn to find a sync between the slow, steady sex, which is your marathon. You want him to go all the way. And then, of course, the fast, steamy sex that he wants, because he wants to show you he has a lot of energy and he can dominate you. So you need to learn to always just subtly, introduce what you would like to him and make it seem like he is the one taking the lead. Now, another thing you need to do in order to appeal to your husband sexually, which is going to have a fantastic effect on your matrimonial bed, is look at flirtation and seduction in a way that it is personal and it is not general. African men respond to certain seduction and flirtations better. A lot of us have seen foreign films and we see how, foreign women seduce their men wearing a lingerie and all that. I've had some men say that mere tying a wrapper around yourself, they find it more seductive and more flirtatious than actually wearing a lingerie. So you need to understand that your African man is African. He's seen a lot of film, but the African man is just there in him, staring him in the face. And so some certain things can also appeal to him better. For instance, even the lady garden, some African men actually believe it should be left just bushy and all over the place. The jungle man in him prefers it that way. So it is not necessary that you have to be clean shaven down there. If your African wants a jungle, let him hunt. Now, another thing you have to consider in, appealing and bringing your husband to the same level with you sexually is, you have to never, ever, and I can go on and on again saying the never endlessly, never deny your African husband sex. Sex is not a weapon or a tool that you have to use to deny in order to tie your African man down. Because once you start denying him, he begins to lose control. It begins to lose self-esteem and it begins to lose power. And once an African man loses any of these three, then you have sapped their energy and they cannot go to the matrimonial bed with you with the same zest, energy and thirst for you. So never ever deny an African man sex, and don't use it as a weapon, to torment him, because once you start denying him, he uses power of ownership over you, and of course that escalates. Well, some women will say, well, it's just for a little while, so they can, you can come to terms with something. Maybe there's a disagreement going on and you feel you want to call his attention to the fact that there is a disagreement, and because of that you deny him sex. That is a wrong approach. You have to let him have a mentality in his head that you are continually available and continually willing, of course, to satisfy his egoistic sexual needs, because on that sexual need hinges his self-esteem, and he needs that because he needs to be in total control to love you. Now, finally, you must and always learn to validate your man. And there are a lot of ways to validate men, especially on the matrimonial bed. For instance, some women are raised by mothers that mom is the word when we are having, an intimate time with your husband, and that means you shouldn't even make any sound. Imagine yourself playing with a pet or playing with your baby, and that baby just keeps mum. How would you feel? Nobody likes a lifeless log of wood. Say what appeals to him and say the African things that appeal to him. You don't necessarily need to say, sometimes I love you does not really resonate with the African man in him. You have to say things in your local dialect that you understand. Tell him he's doing a fantastic job. Tell him he's the best in that. Tell him that he has energy and power. He can go 1,000,000 rounds. Even if he doesn't, he can't go more than 2 rounds. You have to keep validating him. And another way to validate him is to say, I want you, I desire you, and that is continuous, so that he can, keep his ego high and he can always desire you and come with all the energy and all the flexibility that you desire in bed in order to give you total satisfaction. So don't forget, in order to love your African man and allow him to also bring his optimal A game to the bed with you and continually desire you, you have to make sure that you validate him from time to time. Tell him all the time that he's doing, he will do, and he will continue to do a fantastic job. Now, this is Double Narratives with Dr. Hanji. I hope you have a swell time with this series. Don't forget to share this video, subscribe to my channel. I beg you and beg you to share, subscribe to my channel, and then click on the notification icon so you can know when my new videos drop. I will see you soon.